Hello people, this is Ryder here to review the Kamen Saber DX Geo Kourinreki Wonder Ride book. So alongside Decade within this first batch of Legend Rider books, we have Geo, because they did with 01. The box is basically the same. I really do like that these are color-coded to the book. So obviously we got Saber and Geo right there. I forgot to mention that they also have the show logos and such. I really do like this consistency of Saber with the previous Rider, because at least they did that with the Handana. This is basically all the same and such. They actually have a picture of Geo with the Jikan grade, which I wish they kind of picked a better picture so then you can actually see it, but no well. And my favorite part, obviously, the right side, because of the fact he is a story book. There's a left-facing profile of Geo to go alongside Decade. I'm pretty sure these are newly shot, which kind of makes them better. So we have the Wonder Ride book out of its box. So as you can see from here, this is a really nice color scheme overall. Like, this is a really nice shade of purple. Like, I've never seen them use this shade of purple in anything. So this is a nice welcome. Definitely. We got the cover right here. I could technically try to read the Wonder text, but Kourinreki. Okay. Like, this one's pretty neat overall. Like, just the fact this is, you know, I do like the stylized look. They want the text and such. I do like that they try to make it look like the not the Advent calendar, like the Oma, like Waz's book, obviously. I could have done without the stylized Geo. I feel like that was honestly, like, this is probably my only gripe about the cover. But other than that, like, everything else is, like, fine about it. Then there's Wonder text. And then, like, again, like, this, the fact they went with blue here is really interesting. We get Ryder time, Kamen Geo, QR code for Gamba Rising, Ryder symbol, and then the transformation page, we got Geo on the right. This is the only one where I can actually verify where this came from. And then we got the Gcon grade alongside the Psycho grade, which is pretty neat. Like, I'll admit, I really do like the filter they put these pictures under, just to actually make them look like, you know, that they're not hand drawn, but like hand painted. But, you know. So story activation, or book activation. So you get the ride watch insertion sound, and then for the book announcement. Story passage. Obviously, that's just the standby of the GQ driver alongside the turning, which I really do like how seamless that is. So let's use this in all of the readable seconds that isn't the cross saber, because I forgot about that. Obviously, I forgot to mention this because I mentioned it in the packaging, but this is a story slot, so obviously we need the G again. And obviously, like, I didn't bother bringing out the cross saber for these reviews just because they do the same thing, and I had to end up covering the Legend Rider stuff within cross sabers videos just because of how delayed this was. So yeah, it's basically the same thing like Decade. It just doesn't say Decade. It just says Geo, and I really do like that his voice actor tried to mimic the way it was originally done in its original series. Wonder Attack. And for the sake of time, that'll be it. Because, obviously now, we can actually do a Nisutsu. Now, you're probably wondering why I didn't do this with Decade. First of all, they never advertise this book. And second of all, they're the same LED setup. And plus, these two actually have some correlation. So obviously, just insert 01 in the middle. So yeah, there we have the Nisutsu of the Legend Rider jingles, to which, just like the 01 Rider, it does obviously know which books you use and such, which is pretty neat. And obviously we can do double the Wonder Attack. And again, I do really like how this looks overall. My only issue obviously is just how they deal with this. Because obviously it's not, this is kind of the only flaw with the Legend Rider transformation pages. They're not as equal, just because obviously the last page, it's only going to be this book that you actually get to see everything of. So we will do the Giri. Should have taken this one out. What the one or the Legend Rider combos, like, so obviously it really only matters of like which slot it is when you're using it by itself. But when you pair it up with, like, obviously when you start pairing these books up, it doesn't really matter just because of how seamless the transformation page is. And the thing is that it won't actually matter. Like, this thing will actually accommodate of when you actually, like, the placement of the Wonder Ride book. So if we were to do, like, something like this. Because, as you see from there, it actually read it from Geo to Decade. And if I were to do that again, like this, so yeah, it's really neat that, like, these aren't predetermined in any way. It actually does know, okay, like, it actually knows the order of which book is in what. Because that's in foreshadowment when we get to a certain other gimmick. But yeah, like, so that's definitely, like, that's definitely a nice, like, playability thing they've done. This thing does the same thing like Decade. This thing kills batteries. Jeez, this sucks. This is what I don't like about the Saber toys. But yeah, within the Kyomu, it actually reads it as Mao, which obviously is like Demon King, which is really cool because it's not anything from the title or anything. Like, it's something of that writer, but like, again, some of them go directly what they name them. Some of them are actually derivative of what that writer is. So like, naming it Mao makes sense. And speaking of that, if we scan it with the Kuriyami, all right. So yeah, this Geo, it gets read out as another writer, which is really cool. Overall. So, overall, I think the Geo book is pretty neat. It's kind of like, obviously pairing these two as the first two individual releases, because technically it's these three. So like, for these three to be the first batch of Legend Rider books, pretty solid overall. I would have preferred if they separated these two, because obviously, like, their LEDs are the exact same, so you don't really get a lot of coordination. You sadly don't really get a lot of uniqueness, but I mean, whatever. Again, it's really up to you whether or not you want to pick this up, whether or not you're a fan of Geo, if you're a fan of Legend Rider gimmicks, if you're a fan of these books specifically, or if, you just want to hear whatever the Kyomu and the Kuriyami say about them and such. I think so far this one's the best one of just what it does within the Kuriyami and Kyomu. Other than that, like, I feel like the sounds in here so far are probably the weakest and such. But yeah. I don't know, you just can't really cover these things until you cover them entirely. So what I would have to do is review this writer and leave people. Bye, I guess.